Welcome back, everybody. I think we all are saying wow after that live demonstration studio. Excellent job to Tiffany and the team for that. I wanted just to tell, before we move forward, want to give our studio team and us some time to regroup. So we've kind of adjusted. So we're going to be starting, at about 2:30 in our afternoon sessions versus 2:20. So we have a little room. We'll give it back to you on the end. We looked at our schedule yesterday and we all decided that no one wanted to hear me talk for 45 minutes at the end. So we're going to compress the end of our day so we'll get some of that time back. So we'll actually flow into the closing remarks after our final session today. So we'll get the time back, but just wanted to give everyone some time to regroup. So it's starting a little bit later at 2:30. But I did want to say before we moved into that is that, we talked this morning a little bit in the opening about leveraging this model to engage folks in design and implementation. And I think this studio was a really good model for what the relevance and the importance of getting this feedback as early as possible in our research projects to the extent it saves us time, and making sure that our interventions are relevant, they're something that's going to be acceptable. I think you really could see how that input would help the research team. I wanted to just highlight some things I saw in the chat that kind of emphasized this. Someone said help to emphasize the need for community engagement. A great tool for bidirectional communication and engagement. Listening to their experience can be helpful to the research community. And almost everyone commented on Tiffany's excellent facilitation skills, and I could not agree more. And so just a really powerful demonstration. And as Leah mentioned, we will have more time tomorrow to unpack this a great deal more. But just thinking about, we have this type of feedback when we develop our programs, how much further we could be along in some of our interventions, particularly to impact those who carry us the greatest burdens and who are often left out or unheard when it comes to research participation and particularly in the design. And so, for this afternoon, we're going to go ahead and move into the session for this afternoon. So we have recruitment of CE Studio stakeholders, after CE Studio logistics, compensation recommendations, and CE Studio facilitation. And then after that, we'll just move right into kind of closing remarks as opposed to going into a break and kind of wrap up there. So if our studio team has regrouped at this point, I can turn it back over to Tiffany, Brieanne, and Jillian to start us off.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we're going to kick off with a little poll, because I know you guys like these, and I'm excited to see if we can catalog who got all the answers right at the end. So you don't qualify for this CES for 300. What was the most unusual recruitment troubleshooting that we've had to do? We're getting close. You guys are being much more thoughtful and careful. Give you just a few more seconds. Make your final choices. All right, want to close it? Okay, so look at that. You guys are getting better and better and better at this. 37% said all of the above. I have a kid in my family who's always like, if I ever put all of the above, that's always the answer. So I was just trying to fool with you guys a little bit. But this one actually was Multiple fathers with similar names and different area codes signed up for a studio that was explicitly for parents with autistic daughters. And I'm going to let Leah tell you just really quickly how she discovered this, because we've never had this happen before.
I think truthfully, we're not exactly still sure what the exact issue is. And I think Brieanne's actually going to talk a little bit about this with the screener in a bit, but we pretty quickly figured out that they were folks who probably did not have daughters on the autism spectrum, simply because there were inconsistencies of them forgetting the names or forgetting the ages of their children, like by multiple years. And so that seemed a bit strange. And then, you know, again, all that folks were all from the New York area, and they were all using Google Voice. So putting those things together, we sort of figured out that there probably someone had shared our information in a place where maybe it shouldn't have been shared, and folks, you know, I think survey researchers are familiar with this sort of issue, but that was something that happened pretty recently.
Yeah, we had never had that happen before. So that is one of those things that you guys have to be mindful of when you're doing virtual studios, is that makes them accessible from all over the place. So it's just something to be mindful of. So I'm going to close this and we'll go ahead and go to next slide.